Bystander intervention is a leader development program that emphasizes trust and judgment at every level. It enhances a values-based culture throughout the organization and empowers soldiers to intervene in situations where they declare an emergency. In bystander intervention, we cover a lot of things. We start with the definition of a bystander and its sociological background and where it comes from. And then we talk about why the types of interveners there are and the types of interventions there are.
Where's the line between the discipline and the abuse? Like, what do you consider just regular discipline, or what do you consider abuse? So if you see a child being spanked in Walmart, you consider that discipline or you consider that abuse? Where do you draw the line?
It's actually a very well put together class. It's not the same type of class, any Army class that you would attend. It actually allows you to open up and express yourself through others and actually give the truth about yourself versus hiding behind a uniform.
I've been in the Army a long time, and this is the most engaging class that I've ever had privy to be.
It enhances unit cohesion and allows soldiers to take accountability for the decisions they make and the outcomes in their unit around tough things. Some of those hard things like sexual assault, suicide, and domestic violence, ask them to get involved, become accountable for them, and determine what the norm and what it's going to look like and what the outcome they want to have in their unit is, and align with the Army values and the warrior ethos.
There was a time that I wish somebody would have intervened on my behalf. And it was not that anybody knew what was going on with me, but the physical evidence was there, and you can only hide it for so long.
Even if I'm out in public, and usually I mind my own business, if I see a guy punch a woman in the face, I'm not going to be like, she must have pissed him off, and just keep on going.
You don't just think, okay, let me just go kill myself today because I'm having a bad day.
It's usually signs for it.
Exactly. And it would be going on for like months and months and months.
And that goes back into the trust situation. That brings it all the way back to trust.
We break down a lot of the barriers to inclusion, and we start to get people talking, and they have the conversation that really gets them involved in caring for themselves and other soldiers.
There's things that you don't know or you don't understand. As a kid, you know it may be wrong, but you're not 100% sure. As I'm older now, I can look back on those situations and say, hey, I knew that was wrong, so why didn't anybody stop it? So I think there's definitely times in all of our lives that we could have intervened or should have intervened.
And you're breaking down the conversation more, and you're getting people to think about how they could affect the outcome, how they could care about soldiers and family members and community members more, and why and how that they're responsible to help create the climate and culture that they want to live and operate in. We go through like the cognitive behavioral process, how your brain works and why, how to interpret an emergency and why people interpret emergencies differently.
I mean, you always know your ideas are different than other people's, but it's something else to actually hear what they have to think about a lot of things and not just dealing with your own concept of the world.
And we ask them to consider the various different outcomes and how people can see it differently than they do.
People actually open up and start talking about the subject with each other and the facilitator.
Obviously in the military we like to think of ourselves as being very proactive, so you've got an option of those who will automatically intervene. They will see that they'll step in and they themselves will do something almost without regard for the consequence of it. Then there's a second sort of category of people who will look around and see what others are doing. And those people, one of the things we've got to do is we've got to validate indirect intervention, where the walking away in order to do something else. We've got to validate the idea that if you go and get help, that's still an intervention, and it's important. And then there is a group that we acknowledge up front of the third that don't feel compelled to do anything. And quite honestly, what we try to do in class is get them to self-realize that that's not really an option.